call?
Without objection.
Yeah, thank you, Madam President. I wanted to just say a few words, not a formal speech about my junior partner, the junior senator from Ohio. He's only the junior senator, not in intellect or actions, but only in seniority is the way it works here. And I know I'm talking when the presiding officer has such a record of bipartisanship and working with others in the Senate, the junior senator from New Hampshire, and the work she's done. And I just want to talk for a moment about Rob Portman, who is, I was at his last speech he gave, his retirement speech last week. And I want to just say a few words about his work. He and I, on the big issues, no surprise, Senator Portman from Cincinnati, I live in Northern Ohio, have looked at the world differently on big trade issues, on tax issues. I mean, he was for the Trump tax cut that gave big tax breaks to corporations and I think squeezed middle class and low income taxpayers. But on the big issues, we, in a sense, canceled each other's vote out, and we talk about that sometimes. But on a lot of Ohio-specific things, we're able to work together on really, really important problem-solving kinds of issues. And a few of them come to mind: level the playing field, first issue, and then level the playing field 2.0, which will help the U.S. enforce its trade laws. Well, Rob was for NAFTA and I was against it, or for PNTR with China, and I was against it. We did come together in making sure our trade laws are enforced, which helped Ohio businesses and Ohio manufacturing. That's one example. Another example is what we're able to do in the infrastructure bill. He was a leader on writing the infrastructure bill, always thinking about how important it was, the Brent Spence Bridge in Cincinnati and the Western Hills Viaduct on the west side of Cincinnati. But also what we did on the 7170 interchange in Columbus, what we're able to do on small township roads around small counties in rural Ohio, what we're able to do in Appalachia, what we're able to do on major transportation projects. Another example, Rob Portman cared a lot about the environment. We worked, he loves canoeing. We worked on issues that matter on the Ohio River, and especially issues that matter in Lake Erie. One of my favorite statistics is Lake Erie, the smallest of the Great Lakes in area, the most shallow, only 30 feet deep, and around Toledo, 90 feet deep around my wife's home county of Ashtabula. Lake Erie is 2% of all the water in the Great Lakes, but has 50% of the fish. And Lake Superior, the largest Great Lake, has 50% of the water and 2% of the fish. So we know how important Lake Erie is to fishing. We know how important Lake Erie is to our water supply. We know how important Lake Erie is just as one of the beautiful parts of the Great Lakes that matter to all of us. So when I think about Rob, I regret he's leaving. I look forward to working with Senator Vance. I'm hopeful that we can be as cooperative and effective as Rob and I have been on issues that are Ohio specific, and we will continue to search out those issues. Another one was NASA Glenn in Cleveland. We have one of the 10 NASA facilities in the country. NASA Glenn is particularly important with the Armstrong Center in Sandusky to the state's economy and to our space program. And Rob has been, that's in my part of the state, Rob's been helpful there. I've been helpful in his part of the state with Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, one of the key facilities for our United States Air Force. So on issue after issue, many of them, Rob and I have each co-sponsored dozens of bills that have become law, some 35, I believe, with each other that have become law, dozens more with other senators in both parties, including Senator Hassan from New Hampshire, who has been one of the real leaders on doing bipartisan work. So those kinds of issues don't get the attention of the media. They'd rather, and I don't blame them, they'd rather cover when Rob and I disagree than when we agree. But my job, as Senator Portman's job, has always been look for opportunities to do things together. We found dozens of those opportunities in our 12 years together. I came in 06, he came in 10. He's retiring at the end of 2022. So we had 12 years together, and we're able to accomplish a lot of things for the state. And I will miss him. I'll miss his leadership. I'll miss his reasonableness. And we'll continue, I hope, once he retires, and working together on other things that are state-specific for my state. So I thank the presiding officer for allowing me to speak for a couple minutes about my friend Rob Portman, and I yield the floor.
The clerk will call the roll.